Hi everyone, Linda from Let's Talk Prepping. And what are you going to do if you have an SHTF event and this happens? I did a video the other day on tasting canned beef, and it was a 28-ounce can of canned beef. And I said to Bill, we could each get 14 ounces, and I want it to last for 3 days, so that's a little over 4 ounces each day. After the video, Bill said to me, no, it can only last 2 days because I'm going to be working hard and I'm going to be very hungry. So what do you do in a case like that? You have a non-prepper who thinks all this food, it just looks like an awful lot of food to them, and they think it's going to last forever. And you know it's not going to last 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. And you need to stretch it as far as possible. How are you going to do that? How are you going to convince them? If you couldn't convince them to prep, you're certainly not going to be able to convince them to ration the food. You know, you can explain that this is going to last longer than you think, and we really have to ration, but it's probably not going to work. So think about it. What are you going to do? You have to plan now for this to happen. And I really hate to say it, but it's probably going to be more of a problem when you have the woman as a prepper and the man who doesn't prep. That's when it's going to be more of a problem. And it's going to be a problem when you bring others to your group who have not prepared ahead of time. So what happens then when the harvest time comes and it looks like an abundance of food and this person says, wow, I can eat all I want, and just goes for it, and you have to say, no, we need the food for winter, we've got to can, we've got to dehydrate. Or you have peanut butter or you have butter and they just slather as much as they can on their piece of bread. What are you going to do about that? How are you going to convince them not to do that? If you're lucky enough to have chickens and they've always had 3 eggs every day, how are you going to convince them that now they can only have 2 eggs? You've really got to think about what to do. One thing might be to try to get them to drink more water so they won't be as hungry. I know that's not really a good solution. The other might be you maybe can do some kind of a drink mix something in with the water, or hot tea, maybe something like that. Maybe you can make popcorn. You've stored a lot of it and you can have them eat some popcorn. Maybe that'll help. But you've got to convince them they're going to be hungry. The other thing that happened in the video is that I had a scoop and I said, this is 4 ounces. And then Bill scooped it out and I didn't notice till I watched the video again. It was overflowing. I mean, it was more than 4 ounces. So what are you going to do when someone says, ooh, you gave Linda more than 4 ounces and I only got 4 ounces? You have to think about that. And that might happen when you bring outsiders into your group. One way I think to correct that is the person who's doing the food would make all the plates over on the counter, and then people would just go and take one, so they wouldn't know which one is going to which person. I thought of another thing that could happen. Suppose someone barters a can of your meat for a candy bar. That might happen mostly with kids or something. Or maybe they're bartering a can of meat for a cigarette. I don't know. But think how you're going to stop that. You're not going to have your food locked up. So little things like this you have to think about now. And you do know if other people join your group, you're really going to have to ration more than just if you have your core group. So start thinking about what you're going to do. Start talking to the person you live with who's not a prepper about rationing, about how these events usually last a lot longer than you think they're going to last, and try to just get through their head they're going to have to ration. And this is going to be a big problem, and it's going to be very stressful. And an SHTF event is very stressful in itself. And you know, stress makes you hungry too. So you have to consider all of these things. All of these scenarios can happen. And I did another video once about other things that could crop crop up with your food supply and with preppers and non-preppers. I'll try to find that and stick it up above somewhere. So if you have any ideas in the comments on what we can do, how we can correct this problem, how we can keep it from happening, let us know. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.